can roughly locate any community in the world, somewhere along a scale running all the way from democracy to despotism. One to the democracy end, another somewhere in the middle, and a third. Let's find out about despotism.
Many observers have found that two workable yardsticks help in discovering how near a community is to despotism: the respect scale and the power scale.
A careful observer can use a respect scale to find how many citizens get an even break. As a community moves towards despotism, respect is restricted to fewer people. A community is low on a respect scale if common courtesy is withheld from large groups of people on account of their political attitudes. If people are rude to others because they think their wealth and position gives them that right, or because they don't like a man's race or his religion. Equal opportunity for all citizens to develop useful skills is one basis for rating a community on a respect scale. The opportunity to develop useful skills is important, but not enough. The equally important opportunity to put skills to use is a further test on a respect scale. A power scale is another important yardstick of despotism. It gauges the citizens' share in making the community's decisions. Communities which concentrate decision-making in a few hands rate low on a power scale and are moving towards despotism. Like France under the Bourbon kings, one of whom said, "The state, I am the state." Today, democracy can ebb away in communities whose citizens allow power to become concentrated in the hands of bosses.
What I say goes, see? I'm the law around here.
The test of despotic power is that it can disregard the will of the people. It rules without the consent of the governed. Look beyond the legal formalities of an election in measuring a community on the power scale to see if the ballot is really free. If the citizens can vote only the way they're told, a community approaches despotism.
Henry here got on the train with $200. He couldn't see any harm in a friendly game of cards. What if the other men were strangers? And take Joe Collins. He's got a nice wife at home. But he met this girl at the bar, and she looked, after the first couple of drinks.
That means you and me. So let's not be suckers. We must not allow the freedom or dignity of any man to be threatened by any act or word. Let's be selfish about it. Let's forget about we and they. Let's think about us.
He must think I'm crazy to believe that.
You are most prompt.
Mabab, Mib.
We will speak in one of the languages of the Earth people, because you will soon be using it again for the next day or so.
Mabib. I mean, yes, sir.
So for the time being, we will forget the Marsonian tongue.
Marsonian tongue?
So please rehearse as much
Earth
as possible,
people?
so that you will be proficient in its use.
It can't be.
Because I have orders to send you on a special mission to the planet Earth. As usual, you will take a flying disc. You will take off from this point and land approximately here. Then
It is.
From this point,
It's
you will
Mars.
proceed to
I've tuned in Mars.
where your mission
Hey, Steve,
begins.
come here, quick, look.
Now, the reason for the special mission is this. For some time now, we in the Interplanetary Intelligence Department have been greatly concerned over the tremendous scientific discoveries and advancements of the Earth people.
That's true. They now know about the atom, and they
Next thing we know, they will be sending explorers to invade us here on Mars.
But they don't have the flying disc. How could they?
With rockets. They do have rockets.
That's right. I'd forgotten about the rockets.
We don't dare forget anything or overlook any possibility.
But what if the Earth people did come? We visit them occasionally, although they don't know that we do.
That's different. We don't try to change their habits. But can you imagine what would happen on Mars if the Earth people came up? First thing you know, they'd have us chewing gum, reading comic magazines. Our airwaves would be full of soap operas, bebop music, and our super television sets would carry advertising commercials in color.
No.
So you see, we must stop the possibility of an invasion from Earth by rockets. If we don't, we might even end up paying income taxes. So your job is to go down to Earth as quickly as possible. Find out how far they've progressed in the rocket industry. And you know the rest.
Sabotage?
Yes, that's it. If necessary, use this. Now, here is the plan.
Hello. Hello. Operator, get me the FBI. No, make it the United States Army. And hurry. Wait. Get me the President of the United States instead. You see, there's a man coming down here from Mars and... No, I don't want the chief operator. Oh, never mind. She'd never believe me anyway. Nobody would.
Attention! Attention! This is your beloved leader, Og the Exalted. There will be a special giant joy rally today at Og Memorial Stadium, honoring that intrepid space explorer, Colonel Cotton. Hear the Colonel's first words since his return from the planet Earth. You are all commanded, invited to attend. thank you for this unsolicited testimonial. And now, by special permission of the Commander-in-Chief, me, here is Mars' first space explorer, Colonel Cosmic.
I can't tell you how happy I am to see your smiling faces once more. First, let me say that this trip was made possible only by our dauntless chief, Og the Magnificent, introducer of Og Power, which runs most of our industry, and inventor of Og Speed, which doubles the original Og Power. A short time ago, the master was having trouble with the state limousine. He had, of course, developed the Og-explosive charge. But it was inclined to get a little out of hand, just slightly. And, of course, there was always the problem of friction. Parts rubbing together, heating up, and causing all sorts of trouble. But our leader was undaunted. He immediately ordered our first expedition into space to bring back the secret of how other planets got their state limousines to run smoothly. The target was picked with painstaking scientific accuracy. Destination Earth. You all know with what eagerness I volunteered for the mission, and with what confidence I took off. I took careful bearings and set out for my goal. It seemed no time till I was approaching a country of Earth called, the United States of America. I set her down like a feather. What's all the racket? I watched them for hours. Great Ganymede, they were superb. I just couldn't help comparing them with ours, if you call that a comparison. Surely these vehicles must be the property of the highest officials. I was wrong. It seems that almost everybody in this country has one of those, use them for transportation, for business, for pleasure. They use them for all sorts of things. I found that these vehicles gather at places called service stations, where they are fed, lubricated, that's how they beat friction, and given the finest care. The source of their nourishment was something called petroleum. A power source like that must be a highly prized state secret. I had to find out about it. Perhaps the secret lay within this government archives building. It was heavily guarded, but casting discretion to the winds, I walked boldly inside. Their code was remarkably easy to break. They merely substituted the word oil for petroleum. And I soon got hold of a veritable mine of classified information. I began to assimilate the material. I soon found out that though petroleum products are easily found anywhere, petroleum itself is a very elusive substance. Experts have to search for it constantly in all the most likely and unlikely places with all kinds of scientific devices. When they figure they found a good spot, they drill a hole in the ground called an oil well, for almost all oil lies far beneath the surface of the earth. These wells go down thousands of feet and cost a lot of money to drill. But that's no guarantee that they're going to find oil. Matter of fact, in exploratory drilling, only 1 well in 9 finds any oil at all. only 1 in 44 recovers enough oil to pay for itself. And only 1 in almost 1,000 makes a major discovery. Pretty big odds. Yet America's proved reserves, the oil supplies still underground, have kept increasing steadily. I couldn't imagine how this ever-increasing supply of oil was achieved until I found out that there's not just one, but thousands of oil companies, all competing with each other to discover and develop new sources of oil. For believe it or not, in the USA, anyone who is willing to risk it can drill for oil. But oil discovery is only part of the story. Once they get oil out of the ground, it has to be moved through pipelines, on ships, or in tank cars, to fantastic processing plants called refineries. Crude oil goes in, and great Jupiter, the things that come out. Gasoline, for example, the most efficient mobile power source on Earth. That was the stuff that powered all those cars and trucks. And asphalt, which makes smooth, durable roads. It seems that oil not only runs cars, it even gives them something to run on. Another oil product is the diesel fuel, which runs giant trains across the nation. In winter, fuel oil made from petroleum brings warmth and comfort to millions of homes. And still other fuels help defend America's shores and skies. From refineries also come the lubricating oils and greases that keep the wheels turning in America. But that still isn't all. Crude oil, like everything else, is made up of billions of tiny molecules. And using the magic of research, oil companies compete with each other in taking the petroleum molecule apart and rearranging it into, well, you name it, fabrics, toothbrushes, tires, insecticides, cosmetics, weed killers, a whole galaxy of things to make a better life on Earth. And you know, it isn't just oil companies that try to outdo each other, competing for the customer's dollar. The same story is true of almost every successful business enterprise in America. The result? A higher standard of living in the USA than in any other country on the whole planet. At last, the secret was mine. And now, to get proof of my discovery, smuggled past the border guards. In spite of my infinite precautions, one of them became suspicious and gave the alarm.
Come back for the eggs, did you? Yeah.
And so, with the fond farewells of the natives ringing in my ears, I took off once again for Mars. My landing was a little bumpy, but I saved my precious cargo. Yes, I brought the secrets back with me, and here they are. The big secret is, of course, oil, which has brought a better life to all the people in the USA. But the key to making oil work for everybody is competition. Fellow Martians, I thank you.
Very interesting, Colonel. Oil, huh? Sounds splendid. But that, what was it? Competition. Not our kind of thing at all. Why, competition is downright un-Martian.
Oil. We'll have oil for everybody. That's what we need. Oh, boy, oil.
Look at them. You know what this means, Cosmic?
You bet I do, Og. It means that you're through. So why don't you get lost? Yes, the real secret is not only a great source of energy, but also the freedom to make it work for everybody. And if you have both of these things, any goal is possible. It's Destination Unlimited.
Do you believe in that kind of talk?
I don't know, makes pretty good sense to me.
And I tell you, friends, we'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without. Without what? Yeah, without what? Jobs that belong to me and you. Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on, what's going to become of us real Americans?
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
Without alien foreigners, without Catholics, without Freemasons. You know these people.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason. Hey, that fellow's talking about me.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
These are your enemies. These are the people who are trying to take over our country. Now you know them. You know what they stand for. And it's up to you and me to fight them. Fight them and destroy them before they destroy us. Thank you.
Before he said Masons, you were ready to agree with him.
Well, yes, but he was talking about, what about those other people?
But in this country, we have no other people.
It attempts to prove to the world the superiority of its position. The conflict is fought with the words of diplomats, with gestures of friendship and help to uncommitted countries, even with cultural demonstrations. It is fought indeed on every level of man's experience, for the stakes are high. As one of the adversaries in the conflict, we see a challenge as great as any in our historic past. A challenge not, we hope, to be met and joined in battle, but to be faced and fought in the hearts and hopes of men. It is the challenge of ideas.
We believe in many things, but this belief that man is a responsible being bears out our own unique stamp. As a people, we are active and often noisy. We are industrious, oftentimes to the bafflement of ourselves and our friends. We relax as hard as we work. We are proud. We are sentimental. Beauty is of national concern to us. For some of us, its pursuit is a deadly serious pastime. The rest of us simply enjoy the results.
Our dauntless chief, Og the Magnificent.
Attention! This is your beloved leader, Og the Exalted.
Cause he's so down mean.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock to broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
irony, isn't it? Watching technology take a step backward. Watching machines break down in old-time movies always seems to tickle us. Perhaps it tickles us because we'd rather not think about the problems of machines breaking down in our day and age.
For we have become a people, indeed a whole world, dependent upon the technology, the enormous, sophisticated, complex technology that we have created. Yet, despite our depending on it, most of us know next to nothing about how it works or how it fails to work. We, all of us, are caught up in a real world, a place somewhere between the space technology and the diabolical machines of the silent movies. There are no space shuttles in that world, no Tin Lizzies either. But there is the technology that we so very much take for granted. Now, certainly from time to time we know that our cars may not work. We may not have maintained them properly. Or that a hot water heater won't give us our share of hot water. We may not have taken care of it. Or that an electrical appliance will short out. We may have overloaded the circuit. Of course, these are just little problems. They only cause anger and frustration. But what's really important is that they point out the larger responsibilities and potential dangers that are tied in with the technological world.
When China protested to the League of Nations, 12 Japanese planes bombed a Chinese city. Trivial. The League branded Japan an aggressor, and Japan resigned, deeply hurt. Japan moved further into China. Pausing only for breath, Japan inflated the Mukden incident into the China incident. It was not war, the Japanese said. 400 million Chinese were caught up in this incident. China was looted and shelled and put to the torch. Chinese forces united under Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek were pressed back by the invaders. China moved her armies and her meager war industries far into the interior. The Chinese fought on not so much with weapons as with space and time. And the warriors of Japan, still breathing the spirit of the samurai in an era of machines, adopted Western methods of warfare as they had adopted Western clothes and architecture and music. And the Japanese warriors dreamt of the conquest of Asia and then of the world. And their emperor invoked the blessings of the divine upon this dream. Italy too had dreams of empire. So Italy too created an incident in Ethiopia. Having achieved unity within by virtue of the club, castor oil, and the concentration camp, Mussolini was ready. 2 years after it had begun, the war was over. Italy had joined Japan in the partnership of aggression.
Il saluto che io vi rivolgo è diretto a tutto il popolo del Giappone, tutti gli italiani, ed ha fondato un impero.
On March 13, 1938, Hitler marched into Austria. The trinity of aggression was complete. 4 years Hitler had planned and plotted. So Hitler marched into Austria. His conquest was bloodless. It was not entirely bloodless. German and Italian forces had been fighting in Spain. General Franco had revolted against the Republican government. He invited and received German and Italian aid. The duly elected government received some Russian aid. The democracies evolved a formula of non-intervention. The dictators brushed this aside. Here was opportunity for a dress rehearsal for full-scale war. An excellent chance to test new weapons and tactics. The Spaniards were the guinea pigs. Men, women, and children. It was a long war, ended finally by hunger. Hitler was not content with Austria.
Our aid must not come too late. Therefore, we must give President Roosevelt power to set in motion an industrial blitzkrieg that will make it possible for England to blast Hitlerism from the face of the earth.
It was fully and freely debated. Men were stamped interventionists and isolationists, and the debate grew bitter. Into this free debate trooped the agents of the aggressors, for they too were permitted to speak in our democracy. They wore Hitler's uniforms, but they wrapped themselves in the American flag. They preached the doctrine of racial and class hatred, for Hitler had said America could be conquered from within and fall as an overripe plum to the Nazi master race.
Jewish Moscow directed domination.
We let them speak, when occasionally a lone outrage wanted to air his opposition, we provided police to preserve order. This was Madison Square Garden in New York City, and not Berlin nor Nuremberg. Later, this speaker was arrested. It was because he had filched money from his deluded followers, and he was sent to Sing Sing to brood upon the strange ways of democracy.
Or 1240 on your regular radio receiver. I repeat, this is a Conelrad radio alert.
Well, there was a rumor circulating around California about these camps. And was in towards Haight-Ashbury hippie mystique, and that was part of it. And so was the flower power thing, so that's the reason it was included in there. People are so ready to believe things like concentration camps and stuff like that, but nobody's ready to do anything about it. I mean, that rumor was so prevalent that they even put a thing in Look magazine with pictures attempting to allay everyone's anxieties about, no, we're not going to open these camps up. See these pictures here? These camps aren't refurbished. They aren't really working or anything, or, you know, they're still there, but we're not going to.
We're approaching.
In less than 3 hours, an H-bomb might fall over Portland.
Could always happen, though. Who knows, even in Philadelphia.
Forget about we and they. Let's think about us.
One more thing.
Be like a star burning bright, lighting our
way. Mind the gap.
But I'm sure he means well, you know what I mean?
In ancient Greek drama, did Chelsea ever win away?
No, but they like to think that they did.
Correct.